The Wheat School on RealAgriculture.com is brought to you by Alberta Grains, C&M Seeds, and Syngenta Canada. Find more episodes of The Wheat School by going to wheatschool.com.
Bernard Tobin here on the Wheat School. Today we're going to wrap up the season with the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Peter Johnson. Sir, how's it going?
It's going awesome, thanks, Bernard. The myth is just absolute malarkey. A legend, not in your dreams. But hey, we're here. It's December 17th. It's the Wheat School. It's real agriculture. It doesn't get any better than this, man.
Hey, and it doesn't get any better than this from a weather perspective. Let's talk about this crop overall. Going into 2025, we've had a couple of acreage reports. What are you hearing? Are you happy?
I'm not happy at all, Bert. I'm devastated because it was such a glorious fall. Almost for sure we should have had record wheat acres in the province of Ontario. We didn't get there. It's a big crop. It's about, probably from what we can tell, about the third largest crop we've had. The record was 1.25 million. We're probably about 1.18 million, give or take it. And maybe not quite that big. Maybe like Agricor would be more in that 1.06 million. Regardless, at the end of the day, we're over 1 million acres of winter wheat in the province of Ontario. That's a big crop. Maybe not as big as Wheat Pete would like, but still a really good acreage, and it makes a difference how that acreage is doing as well.
Yeah, I want to talk about that. I mean, let's talk about this fall and how that crop came along. Interesting, you saw a lot of things there. Tell me about how dry it was and what impact that had on the winter wheat crop.
So it was incredibly dry. Almost no rain in September at all across pretty much all of Ontario, and so first off, that's plant in the dust and the bins will bust. So I'm happy about the dry September, but it was actually so dry in some areas. In fact, Mark McLean, right? Great wheat farmer up along Lake Huron in that Ripley area. And gosh, he says it's still a desert there. Even so, it's been dry, and what that meant was there are a few stands in the really dry areas. I mean, with wheat, at least you can chase moisture. You can go down to 2.5 inches, and a lot of growers planted to get to moisture, get that crop out of the ground and growing. But in some areas, it was so dry that actually we didn't get real fast establishment. They had to wait for rain. And the other thing, Bern, that I've never seen before in the fall, lots of crops, spring crops, we plant them along the trees, and you know, right where that tree is or that tree line, the first, 30, 40, 50 feet is terrible. Yeah. In the fall with wheat, that never happens because we've got lots of moisture. This year, every tree, poor wheat right around that tree because it was starved for moisture, just something I'd never seen.
What about a lot of yellow wheat, nitrogen and sulfur?
Yeah, so that's a really interesting story and one that we have to follow more closely. Some work by Kurt Steinke out of Michigan State University that is suggesting maybe fall sulfur or at the very least early sulfur in the spring. And so this is one of the things we have to look at. But man, a lot of yellow wheat, and it was in most cases not manganese, not magnesium, it was sulfur primarily or nitrogen and sulfur. And you go, why would that be? Well, the soybean crop sucks a lot of sulfur and a lot of nitrogen out of the soil.
Damn soybeans.
Dang soybeans is right. Dang useless soybeans. Of course, if we didn't have them, we wouldn't have much wheat, regardless. But what happens then is when it's really dry, we expect release out of the organic matter. No moisture, no release, and those crops went deficient. I don't think it's going to impact yield because we're not setting yield in the fall, and those crops still, if they went yellow, they had lots of tillers there. That's what we need in the fall. In the spring, that would be devastating. In the fall, I think we're okay.
Okay, let's talk about the fall. Let's talk about the winter. Let's talk about what this crop looks like going into winter. You did a little Twitter poll not so long ago, and you asked a whole bunch of growers. You were crowing about, hey, these Michigan guys are saying how good their crop is. I think Ontario is better. What did you ask them, and what did they tell you?
Yeah, so 4 questions, like how good is your wheat crop? So if it's excellent, that's 3 tillers or more. And you know, Bern, what's really cool is that we got a bunch of people that answered, and what it says is that growers are actually going into their field in the fall and looking at wheat, and it's a real crop. So that's really cool. Yep. So excellent was 3 tillers or more. Good was 1 to 2 tillers, because that's pretty good wheat in the fall. Fair was just one tiller, and poor was, oh gosh, it hasn't come up. I'm not sure if it's going to make it. The Michigan guys thought they had the world by the tail because they had 78% good to excellent. That's pretty darn good. The Ontario guys, 95% baby, good to excellent. Well, 94.5 to be exact. But yeah, the wheat crop in Ontario is probably as good as it has been in a long time as of December the 17th.
Awesome. That's awesome. Tell me about what needs to happen here as we go through the winter. What would you like to see this thing come out on the other end in good shape come April?
Yeah, so wheat hates wet feet. I drove past my own farm today, Bern. I've been on the road a lot today. And we had like 4 feet of snow, and then we got rain. And you know what? The rain melted the snow. And what does that give us, Bern?
Sometimes some ice.
Yeah, some ponding in the field, man. Some water ponds in the field. Wheat hates wet feet. And so it's one of the things growers have to do is try to get that water off there if they can at all. Like it's just one of those recurring problems. On the other hand, areas that didn't have that 4 feet of snow, that wheat crop looks really good. So I'm not worried much. Adam Pfeffer tweeted out, low temperatures coming. Man, it takes a lot of cold to kill wheat. It doesn't generally happen in Ontario, touch wood. But at the end of the day, I would like it to be not too wet. And a nice blanket of snow would be okay, fluffy white stuff, but if it doesn't happen, didn't happen last year, and we had the second highest wheat yield ever, so we don't need snow, we just don't want excess moisture.
Well, we may as well be number one in 2025, how about that?
100%, I want to be number one in 2025, yes I do.
Any last thoughts for growers?
Yeah, the only last thought is this sulfur stuff, more and more I want to push them out there as soon as they can in the spring, and let's get some sulfur out there. Our uptake charts say you should. There's not great research yet, but anything I've seen would suggest that's a good management strategy. We haven't pushed that in the past. I think it's something worth looking at.
Awesome. Well, hey, another great season of the Wheat School. Looking forward to next year. And remember, whatever you do,
grow great wheat.